What is up, everybody? We got Shot of Sports. We are back from Thanksgiving break. We got Billy. Today we got DC. He at work right now, and Donovan is at home with a sick kid. They'll try to be on. I'll try to get them on. We'll definitely try to get them on Friday so we can get an updated ranking on DC's Heisman. But yeah, how was your Thanksgiving?
Great Thanksgiving break, my friend. Got to see the family, got to see some friends back home. How was Chicago over there during the Thanksgiving break?
Man, it was something. I got to see my family finally. Didn't really do a whole lot. Definitely ate good. Oh yeah, we definitely ate good for sure. But we watched a lot of football together and went to go see my cousins and things like that. I didn't get to see all of my family that I normally would over Christmas break, but I'll see them over in about 2 weeks. So, but yeah, it was fun. Ate well and went to go see Ohio State and Michigan. Went down there to Columbus to see my sister down there, to take her back to school. Got to see the campus. It was a good campus. I mean, that's definitely the definition of college right there. It's Ohio State.
Oh yeah,
definitely 4,000 kids. Oh yeah. So right now we're gonna get into MLB real quick. We don't got too much going on. I'm gonna just tell you what happened. The White Sox signed Steve Clevenger to 1 year, so that goes to show you that they still have no left-handed pitching in the rotation, their starting rotation, which is absolutely absurd. They have two left-handed pitchers out of everybody. They got Dykeman and Graveman, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then you got Garrett Crochet coming back, but you don't know how well he's going to be coming off of timing. Then you got the Pirates agreeing with a first baseman, Carlos Santana, which is, there's not really much there. He's going there to get paid, continue to stay in the league. It was a 1 year deal, $6.7 million. He's there to get paid. And the biggest out of everything of baseball that could have happened, Jose Abreu signs with the Houston Astros. So, like people say, the rich get richer, and the more talented get more and more talented. I just don't, that's insane. But at the same time, we will probably see the Houston Astros in the World Series again. Yeah, definitely. They may sign I think they're going to sign DeGrom or either Rondon. I don't think Justin Verlander comes back. I mean, if he does, then okay, you just run it back again. But I believe Rodon or DeGrom are going to sign with the Astros. One of them two. If Rodon doesn't sign with the Astros, I believe he should sign with the Cubs. There's a lot of rumor out there that he might sign with the Cubs or go to the Rangers. So I don't see that as a possibility, but like they say, the rich get richer and the more talented get a lot more talented. So what was your thoughts on that?
Well, Abreu going to them is just, what the fuck, man? Like, what are we doing? I can't. I think I'm like the same page. It's looking more and more like Verlander is going to be out. How about the Dodgers are suitors for him? I swear, if he goes to the Dodgers, man, they just find a way, man. Like you said, the rich get richer, and every year they find a way to get the next great thing. I saw a team, Tampa Bay is definitely going to try to spend. I don't know. I heard of DeGrom rumors. I don't know if that's legit or not, but can look into that a little bit. But that infield with Abreu at first, Jose Altuve, Pena, and Bregman. I mean, just it keeps you speechless. Like, what do you say about that? And in the outfield, I mean, you want to say, if you want to put Abreu at DH, and it's like, oh, he's not the best infielder in the world. Well, out on the outfield, you still got Yordan Alvarez and Chas McCormick and Kyle Tucker, and they still got other guys that they like. It's hard for me to believe that it's even the AL West or in the AL alone is better than that team. It really keeps you speechless. It really is. It's like, how the hell do they just like how? Like how does this happen? But I mean,
But
Abreu did have a down year last year. I think we could both agree after being an MVP in 2020. The last 2 years has been not bad, but it's not been that same MVP form. But any sort of that MVP Jose Abreu on that Astros team makes them better. And
I have to put out there real quick that I did make a mistake with the White Sox. Kendall Graterman, he's a right-handed pitcher. Aaron Bummer is the left-handed. So they have Aaron Bummer and Jake Dykman as the only two left-handed pitching. So that goes to show you that there goes to show you that and with Abreu leaving the White Sox like that, that goes to show you that the White Sox are a little further than we thought they were. So when he left, I mean, he came back last year after a playoff run that they had in 2021. You know, okay, we make the playoffs, cool, we win the division, all of that, we straight. You know, we gonna make a run now this upcoming year. We're gonna really expectation is high. He comes in, does all he can do. He had 15 bombs at the age of 35. Okay, you can say that. You can put that in there as well. Okay, fine. But he was still their most consistent bat. He still batted over 300. He was still that middle of the lineup piece, that dangerous middle of the lineup piece that they needed. And now that he's gone, you're going to have to really fill that role with either Gavin Sheets or Andrew Vaughn. And Andrew Vaughn is already there. He's already up to that level. We really haven't seen much with Gavin Sheets doing anything outside of the guaranteed rate field. We haven't really seen him squat outside of Chicago. So they gonna really see what they got. I mean, you're gonna have Colas come up. You know, they got a prospect down there that's about ready. So he's gonna come up most likely and be in right field. But with Gavin Sheets, they were looking at him to move him at the deadline, but nobody wanted him. Everybody wanted Andrew Vaughn, and let's just be honest, nobody wants Gavin Sheets. So that goes to show you that you're getting kind of a downgrade that it was Jose Abreu left. So that's tough. So now let me tell you about this lineup, this Houston Astros lineup. Jose Altuve to lead off. Jeremy Pena second. Yordan Alvarez third. Alex Bregman is fourth. Kyle Tucker, who hit 2 bombs in the World Series in one game, is batting fifth. And you're just only going to add somebody else, another 300 hitter who can hit 20, 30 bombs. Jose Abreu at 6. Chas McCormick will be in left field. Let's just be real. Chas McCormick is their center fielder, and they're putting him in left because they got Jake Myers coming in center. So I don't think that should be right, because I think Chas should be in center and maybe Jake Myers left. I mean, he goes to show you Chas should be their everyday center fielder after that catch. And then Martin Maldonado at catching. But they're still not out of the sweepstakes with Wilson Contreras. And they already got Christian Vasquez. Let alone they got that huge rotation that they still got. And they're going to only add another ace. Either Verlander's coming back, Rodon is coming, or Jacob deGrom is coming. And their bullpen is still the same. So let's just be honest that the Astros are going to win another 110 games, 105 games. And they're most likely going to sweep the Yankees again. So let's just be real that, well, the Astros will be back in the World Series next year.
Is Yuli Gurriel officially, like, he's retired, right?
I'm not sure. I would have to check on that. But if not, he's going to switch off of first base with him and Abreu.
I would assume he would probably be more of the everyday first baseman, and Abreu would probably play more DH, right?
Yeah.
How about that? Your decision now, if you're the fucking Astros, is do we want to play Yuli Gurriel today, or do we want to have Abreu at first? Yordan play DH, maybe play a different outfielder who's probably going to bat 300. I mean, or probably hit 20 home runs. Like they have an issue of just being too rich right now, and it's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I wanted to get back to you.
Is a free agent. He is a free agent. But there are reports that he will be back. They are saying that Houston is still considering re-signing Gurriel. So that's only adding another guy who can hit in the postseason.
That's what I mean. He's not a good, we all know how Gurriel plays. We've seen him for how many years. He's not one to hit the home run ball like crazy. He's probably going to give you 10 home runs a year, maybe even up to 15. But he bats over 300 consistently. I couldn't tell you the last time that guy's batted under 300. He's just a really good, consistent bat to have, and he makes plays in the infield when needed. I'm assuming they're not going to get Mancini back. He's probably on the outs with that team. It's just they're insane. But I want to get back to a point that you talked about with the White Sox was of how much expectations was coming into this year for them. Yeah. It was the expectation. Astros, Yankees, them. Right? Like, that was the expectation last year.
Yeah.
Those are your top three teams. Those are easily winning each division. The other two teams won the divisions by a handful of games, and the White Sox finished third in the worst division in baseball.
Because let's be real, the White Sox were fourth at the start of the season to win the World Series. Because out of all the teams in MLB, it was the Astros, the Dodgers, the Yankees, then the White Sox. So they were top five in voting and at least reaching the World Series or even reaching the playoffs.
Yeah, and they couldn't. And they won 80-something games? Or maybe even they didn't even have a winning season, did they?
They went 81-81, a 500 ball club.
I mean, yes, they were hurt. The top two pitchers that they have in Lance Lynn and Lucas Giolito, they shit the bed. Dylan Cease became a guy, and we were like, okay, this guy was second in Cy Young behind Verlander?
Yep, right there.
And then you got in the infield. I mean, they had a lot of injuries. Tim Anderson, I think Abreu missed a couple games. Nothing too serious, but he missed a couple games. They have a really good lineup, and they have a lot of really good players. They just can't stay healthy, and they're never consistent. Another thing I want to point to, remember coming into the year, the talk was coming into the year. White Sox and the Braves have two of the best bullpens of all time because of the amount of signings that they made. And the White Sox bullpen was so disappointing this year. It was so disappointing. They would have a lead in some games and then lose it late constantly. And when it comes to the White Sox, I don't see they just lost their manager, right? They fired him. There's things to look forward to if you're a White Sox fan. You got some young guys who they got talent. Like, it's not that they're bad. They got talent. But can you just, make that push? You know what I mean? Can you do that for yourself? Can you stay a little healthier? Can you win some of them tight games that are tough?
I mean, they can't get out of their own way. That was the thing the whole season. They couldn't get out of their own way.
I know.
Would do things that it was just really unexplainable, some of the things they would be doing. Like, they would, win 2 or 3 straight, and you would be like, okay, here come that run that they got. Here it comes. And then they lose 5 out of their next 7. And then, they win maybe 4 games. Then they go down and lose 6 of 8. So it's like they really were a 500 ball club. Exactly what we were telling them. They were not ready for the challenge. They weren't ready to expectations. And it goes to show you that they did not live up to expectations. And it goes to show you that it's hard to explain what that team is right now. I mean, they got a new coach right now, which is big. They got a new manager, so they're going to start something fresh with that and see if that helps out. But, yeah, I mean, they're kind of afraid. They're afraid of pressure. That's just what I've seen. They're afraid of pressure. What happened when they played the Astros in the World Series, or not the World Series, in the playoffs? It goes to show you that they weren't ready for that either. I mean, they got their behinds kicked in that divisional series. They weren't ready for. They're not ready for expectation. Not ready for expectation.
Yeah, true.
So that's all we got for baseball. Miguel Cabrera is going to call it a career after 2023, and another great is leaving the game of baseball for us. Memories are going to be made this upcoming season. There's going to be tears in people's eyes when they see him for the last time. just like it was Albert Pujols, and when it was like Adrian Beltre as well. All of those guys, they're leaving the game, and it goes to show you that it's time. In basketball, that time's coming too, where LeBron is going to be gone, Steph is going to be gone, KD is going to be gone. All of those guys are going to be gone, and who are we going to look forward to? We got some young names, but it ain't those greats that we've had. And I tell people to appreciate the greats that you have now until we can't appreciate them no more. Until they're gone now, because you got to appreciate the greats, because once it's gone, it's gone. So
yeah,
that's all we got for baseball. Congratulations on a wonderful career from Miguel Cabrera, and I'm looking forward to this upcoming season, and I'm really going to watch all the games. I'm going to try to tune into all the Detroit games with my MLB TV pass. Try to tune into all the games and see him play. So that's all we got for baseball. And yeah, so with basketball, we got Mavericks and the Warriors playing last night. Luka Doncic dropped a 41-point triple-double. 41 points he scored, and he had 12 rebounds and 12 assists. That is, they won 116 to 113, and it goes to show you that Steph is doing it all by himself. Let me read you these stats. Klay Thompson, 5 points. Jordan Poole, 9 points. Andrew Wiggins, 10 points. Kevon Looney, 11 points. And Moses Moody didn't play. So, and Dante DiVincenzo, another guy who can contribute to people, he had 6 points. So it goes to show you that, Steph had 32 points. So it goes to show you that he's doing it all himself. They're 11-11 right now, and it goes to show you that he is really doing it all himself right now. I mean, there's really no explanation. That's just like Luka having to drop a triple-double to beat teams. Those teams right now are not ready. I mean, obviously, Klay Thompson just had his bad shooting night. Okay, he's gonna always help Steph when the games count, when the games matter. Jordan Poole, you can count on Jordan Poole to hit big shots down the stretch when the games matter. Draymond Green, you can count on him to make the right plays and the right defensive assignments when the games matter. Now with the Mavericks, on the other hand, they only won by 3 points, and Luka Doncic had to drop 41. Out of 116, he had to have 41 points for them to even beat the Warriors by 3 points. That's not going to cut it. Let me read you this stat. Dwight Powell, 4 points. Dorian Finney-Smith, 6 points. Maxi Kleber, 6 points. Christian Wood, 4 points. Bullock, he had 0 points. And he's a sharpshooter. Started to. So it goes to show you that, I mean, Luka got to do it. It's either Luka or nothing with the Mavericks. You got the Knicks playing the Pistons last night. That wasn't even a close matchup. The Knicks just went all over the Pistons. They won 140 to 110. That game wasn't even close from the beginning. First half, that game was over. Julius Randle had a big high, 36 points. The season high, 36 points with 5 assists and 7 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson collected 13 boards for the Knicks, and Cade Cunningham did not play. Jaden Ivey did not play. So goes to show you that's their production right there. So, but let me get that right. Isaiah Stewart, there it is. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds. That game wasn't close. Then you got the Clippers and the Blazers. They're without Damian Lillard for the Blazers. He didn't play. Anthony Simons put up 37. He knocked down 9 3-pointers. That man hit 9 3-pointers in a game. Regulation. Jeremy Grant collected 32 points. Nurkic had a double-double with 13 and 10 rebounds. But case was that Reggie Jackson led the way for the Clippers to take a victory to move to 8-13 and 9. He had 24 points and 12 assists with 7 rebounds. He almost had a triple-double. So it goes to show you that, Reggie Jackson can put it on the floor when need be. John Wall didn't play, but it goes to show you that Reggie Jackson can put it on the floor when need be. And it goes to show you that without Kawhi, without Paul George, they can still find a way to win. So, yeah, we're talking about the Blazers without a Damian Lillard, of course, but they're still over a 500 team. They're 11-10 now. So they're still over 500. They're still playing really good basketball. And it goes to show you that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, yes, they're needed for down the stretch in the postseason and bigger games with better teams, but it goes to show you that Reggie Jackson can hold down the fort. He knocked down 2 threes. So that's all we got for NBA. Not NBA. College basketball, it was a crazy Thanksgiving for it. Also for the NBA, Karl-Anthony Towns is out with an injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So goes to show you that Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards have to step up for them to even be close and to even be competitive in games. Rudy Gobert definitely has to step up and score because that third scoring option is not there anymore. So now Rudy Gobert has to go into that role. Last night we had Michigan losing to Virginia. Virginia is number 3 in the country. Marquette beat the crap out of Baylor. Baylor will drop for this. They lost 96-70. They gave up 96 to a lowly Marquette team. Houston routed Norfolk State. They're number 1 in the country. Maryland routed Louisville. They had won 79-54. Kentucky took care of business against Bellarmine. It goes to show you that also those games down the stretch in those classics that we had over Thanksgiving, those were classics. Michigan State taking care of business at the PKI Classic. They had at Atlantis, they had a crazy finish with Wisconsin and USC. Wisconsin took that one, but USC should have taken it because they missed a lot of shots down the stretch, and that is what really killed them. Sunday at the PK Invitational for the championship game, you had Alabama upset at North Carolina, 103-101. They went to 4 overtimes on that in there, which is crazy, which is insane to me. And then Purdue had upset at Duke, 75-56. They beat the crap out of them as well. So those to show you, that's all we got for basketball. Noticeable basketball is doing all right, but it's not really much to it. And we're going to jump into football. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, because we've been out for a little bit, we have some Week 12 games that we, of course, have to talk about. What a Thanksgiving slate that we had from the 12 o'clock game all the way down to the night game. Detroit Lions playing the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are now playing back-to-back games in Detroit after the bad snowstorm from last week. This game was incredible to watch. Detroit was with Buffalo the entire time. I think at one point, all of us as football fans were watching that game, and when Jared Goff got sacked for that safety to make it a 5-point game, even though it was still a one-possession game, usually when safeties happen, it's a one-possession game. When safety happens, the game gets out of reach after that. It kind of really switches momentum. But Detroit right after that responded and took the lead in the early part of the fourth quarter. We had, at one point, 4 different lead changes in the fourth quarter. In this one, Detroit was fighting. There's still some playoff hopes, even though they're 4-7. The NFC is a little weak right now. They could still make it, but Buffalo, there's a reason why they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They found a way to win late. Took them 20 seconds to score a field goal against the Lions to win 28-25. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, top 3 duo in the NFL right now. They are unstoppable. The second game, Dallas Giants. In the first half, the Giants were giving it to the Dallas Cowboys, giving them some trouble. Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions early in that game. And then the second half happened, and reality came in. Dallas went on to score 21 straight points against the Giants. And even though the Giants scored late with 8 seconds to go to make it a one-possession game, the second half was not particularly close. Giants have to involve Saquon Barkley more. He should have more than 11 carries. And yeah, that's Giants now dropped 2 straight games. Cowboys last 2 weeks, they've been looking pretty damn good. Vikings, they respond well after getting shellacked by the Dallas Cowboys just 4 days prior to the Thanksgiving night game. Offensive explosion between the Patriots and the Vikings. There were some things for the Patriots that kind of got screwed from the refs. That was a catch by Hunter Henry. I want that to be known. But Vikings in the fourth quarter, 10 points. Patriots showed nothing. At the end of the day, you can't do anything about that when it comes to New England. You have to score more points in the fourth quarter. Mac Jones had himself a hell of a day, 382 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are now 9-2. We go to the Sunday games. Big upsets on Sunday. How about that Browns-Bucks game? Cleveland Browns come back. David and Joe with a hell of a one-handed grab. Give me that. And gets a tie. Brings it to overtime in Cleveland. Is able to win in overtime, 23-17. The Buccaneers now fall to 5-6, but still lead the NFC South, which that division absolutely stinks. The Bengals go to Tennessee and win that game. Bengals made it a point to stop Derrick Henry, and boy, did they do. He had 17 carries for 38 yards. They overall only ran the ball for 63 yards, excuse me. Ryan Tannehill played pretty well, but not well enough, as Joe Burrow threw for 270 and a touchdown, and the Bengals, without Joe Mixon, without Jamar Chase, were able to do enough offensively and go to Tennessee and win a big game. Miami waxed the Texans. The Texans started showing some life late, but it was too late to show. Miami is now 8-3 and still leading the AFC East. The Jets, hey, how about Magic Mike White? He has himself a great game. 22 of 28, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a QBR of 91.2. That is incredible. The Jets ran the ball for 158 yards. The Bears playing with backup quarterback Trevor Siemian. Didn't play that well, but the Jets defense is pretty good. It was a good thing for Chicago. They're showing some life. They're not, I don't think they're a horrendous team. I think they definitely have some holes, but they're going to be looking forward to the draft this year and surrounding Justin Fields with some help. Commanders, Falcons, what a great game that was. Washington took the lead late with a touchdown in the third quarter, was holding on. Atlanta was going on a drive, and, well, Marcus Mariota got intercepted inside the 5, and that pretty much did it for Atlanta. Also, a boneheaded roughing the punter penalty helped Washington win that. Panthers, Broncos, my God, Denver stinks. Just to say it nicely, Denver really, really bad. Every week you go, oh, maybe this offense, maybe this week they'll get it going. Maybe this week they'll get it going. And every week they just disappoint you more. Sam Darnold did not play particularly great. Wasn't really asked of much, but played well enough to win. Carolina's got a pretty damn good run game. They ran the ball for 185 yards and a touchdown. So can't ask for much more from that Carolina team. Right now they are 4-8. Technically, they're not out of the playoffs yet. They still can make a run to make it, but I think we can all agree that they're not that great of a team to make it. How about that Jags-Ravens game? That was unbelievable. Ravens blow another 2-possession lead in the fourth quarter, and that was Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. 29-37, 321 and 3 touchdowns. How about Zay Jones's day? 11 catches, 145 yards, and the game-winning 2-point conversion. Lamar Jackson, I don't think, played bad. They just, for some reason, they can't hold on to a lead late. It was him. You could say, I don't think it was his fault. But they're now 4-7. Chargers, Cardinals, what a game that was. Cardinals showing life. after they pretty much quit last week against fourth quarter drive, gets one to Austin Eckler, and then throws a Gerald Everett 2-point conversion. Chargers are now 6-5 after dropping their last 2 games. Raiders, Seahawks, Raiders with a big-time win in Seattle. Derek Carr has, played well enough. He had 2 interceptions early, but after that, he looked settled in. Josh Jacobs had over 300 yards of total purpose yards. And Seattle, overall, I thought they played well. They just didn't, they didn't run the ball particularly well. And from a defensive point, they just, they couldn't stop the run. And you got to be able to stop the run against that Raiders team. Chiefs, Rams, not too much to say about this one. Chiefs handle business. Backup, Rams are playing with a backup, and they just look out of sorts overall. Niners, Saints, 49ers are the best defense in football. They haven't let a second half point since week 7. They shut out the Saints. I know the Saints aren't a great team by any means, but that's still very impressive to shut out a team in the NFL. And the Sunday night game was an offensive explosion, 40-33, Philadelphia and Green Bay. The Eagles ran the ball for almost 400 yards. But if as an Eagles fan, that run defense has to get cleaned up a little bit. The way that game should not have been as close as it was. It was pretty much dominated for the majority of the game, and special teams has to get cleaned up a little bit. Steelers, Colts. This is the first game that Jeff Saturday looked completely out of sorts as a head coach. And Pittsburgh handles business, and maybe they can make a run. Probably not, but that was the NFL in Week 12.
Yeah, I mean, about those games, the really biggest one that stood out the most was, to me, was the I'm gonna say 2 of them, but was the Lions and the Patriots. We talk about how bad the Lions are and how bad that they stink and things like that, and they can't do much, but they stay in games for some reason. They are always in games, even against one of the best teams in the league, the Buffalo Bills, and they're indoors. They're at home, of course, but they find a way to stay in games. Yes, they're bad. Yes, I mean, you're not going to really win nothing there. You're not going to end up, I'm going to get a Super Bowl next year. That's not going to happen anytime like right now. But, in their future, they're getting better. And at the same time, they are really, opening a lot of eyes. Like, you can't even really say that. You can't even circle that game on your calendar. But, okay, that's a win. That's a win. No. You can't anymore. I mean, they're really here now. They lose games. They find a way down the stretch to make somehow something happens every time they get down the stretch, and it's always the same old Lions, but they are always in games. They're always there. And with the Patriots, there's little to nothing to really say about them. I mean, we know what we were going to get from that defense with the Patriots. They always have a decent defense. Is really what we were going to see from Mac Jones. Was he going to take another leap from last year to take them over that hump to get to the playoffs and really contend in the playoffs? So far, that hasn't happened. Now, yes, he has an injury, and yes, he's working himself back from that injury with his ankle, because an ankle injury is a really big deal. But at the same time, you have to really look at, Josh Allen. I mean, he's really stepped up and took his team to the next level. I mean, it's now Mac Jones' turn. Justin Fields is doing the same thing. He's out right now, but he's taking that team to the next level. They know that they have a quarterback now. We know we have a quarterback. Now we just have to look at our defense and really tell our defense to go stop somebody. Because Justin Fields, now the scheme that we have to run with Justin Fields. We all know what we have to do now with him, and we've found our quarterback, and the Bears are going to be a dangerous team next year. So those are the biggest keys that I took away from football. The Cowboys, they won their game. So what? I mean, it's the Cowboys. I mean, they do well in the regular season and find a way to lose when it counts. They really find a way to, the Cowboys are going to cowboy at some point. So I'm not holding my breath on them at all. I mean, they're going to cowboy. So, They played the lowly Giants. Well, all I care. They should beat the Giants. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really all I got to say about the NFL. I mean, the Chargers, they haven't lived up to expectation. Austin Eckler is doing everything he can. Justin Herbert hasn't been Justin Herbert. Now, there's a lot of time left. They are 6-5. They have a lot of time left. So things like that. But the biggest surprise for me right now are the Cardinals. There was so much expectation coming in for them. Kyler Murray's back for his next season. They are adding more to him, Marquise Brown, and what's that guy's name? Robbie Anderson. They added another guy. DeAndre Hopkins came back. So, I mean, that's the biggest surprise to me, the Cardinals. I mean, they're not going to contend this year. I don't think they're going to contend next year either. So, really, their season is over, and they really got to start from scratch, I believe. But, yeah, that's all I got for the NFL.
Next.
College.
Patriots. Bills are favored by 4 points. Big division game. Bills are 0-2 in the AFC East, so they kind of need this win big. And the Patriots, if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive, they need this win as well. Going over to college football. Well, of course, we got to talk about the 12 o'clock game, the big one on Saturday. Michigan kicked the living dog shit out of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 45-23. If you still think Ohio State's all that, well, they've proved that they deserve. Michigan deserve to be better than them. They should have been higher than them all year, and they proved it to you. Pretty much all of Michigan's touchdowns were big plays, all of them. Except for one touchdown, the other 5 were 45-plus yards. That running back, the backup, not even Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards comes in, runs for 207 yards rushing in the second half alone. Like that is fucking nuts to think about.
Let's just be real.
They ran the ball for 200.
Let's be real. They got their ass kicked. Okay? They got their ass kicked. I mean, you get beat so bad, 28-3 in the second half, bro. Come on now. You at home, bro. You are at home. 28-3, dog. Come on, man. Now, I know everybody going to blame C.J. Stroud. He ain't ready. He's too small. I get that. But let's just take the fact that let's just tip our cap to Michigan. Can't we just say Michigan played a better game? Like, we can't give Michigan their props when they need it. Like, let's be real. They did this without their Heisman candidate, Blake Corum. They did this with J.J. McCarthy. Remember, J.J. McCarthy wasn't the starter. It was Cade McNamara. J.J. McCarthy wasn't going to do all this till next year. He's a year early. He's a sophomore. So, by the way, Cade McNamara is in the transfer portal. That goes to show you that, Michigan is going to keep J.J. McCarthy. So they got another 2 years with this man. 2. Well, including this year and next year. But I believe if I'm here, I'll come back for a third year to go back to my senior year. Do as much as I can to win that title. Now, understand if he has to go into the draft next year because of, fear of injury, like look at Hendon Hooker. I'll get that. But at the same time, you need that title. You want that title. You already beat out Cade McNamara, so might as well just go get a title while you're at it. Now, if he get one this year, if Michigan wins it all this year, he has nothing else to prove. He can go into the draft next year. I wouldn't be mad with that. Win that title, man. Win that title. But let's get back to Ohio State. When are we going to stop blaming, we don't have a defense anymore. They allowed too many points. Or, we only are one-dimensional. Come on, man.
let's be real. Y'all got a running back that can run for 100 yards. He's done it before. Okay. Yeah, two of them. One of them is injured. Yes. This next guy can do the same thing that Henderson couldn't do. Well, Henderson can't do because he's injured. Yes, a lot of that blame should go on C.J. Stroud. He looked totally uncomfortable. I'm going to just put it like that. I ain't going to say he looked scared, but he looked totally uncomfortable. First half, first quarter, second quarter. He just in there throwing darts and all of that stuff. I was watching it. I was seeing it. Throwing darts. He was comfortable, all of that stuff. But when the second half came, Michigan made some adjustments. Now, my mom did say that, it's 2-half game, Maybe they not going to play like this in the second half. They just feel them out. No, I'm sorry. But Ohio State was doing what they were always going to do the whole game. It's just that Michigan adjusted. And it goes to show you that when the time is ready, time for crunch time, Ohio State folded under pressure. C.J. Stroud folded under pressure. I understand you watch film. I understand there wasn't no stone you didn't turn over. I get that. I understand that. But we got to look at for what it was, man. You looked totally uncomfortable in that pocket in the second half. You were not looking like a Heisman candidate at all in the second half, which is why you probably have dropped under Caleb Williams. So, I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. C.J. Stroud, I believe you should come back next year. But I understand if you go to the league, go to the draft now to get that pay, get that check. But I think you still have something to prove. If you come back next year, say you lose to Michigan again, who cares? As long as y'all make it competitive and Michigan comes out and just flat out just wins the game, you can live with that. See, people can live with you losing to Michigan. Okay, they can live with it. I mean, they don't want to, and obviously it will hurt them for a whole year. They will be pissed for a whole year, but they can live with a hard-fought game. Okay, Michigan just came out and beat us. They came in and whooped y'all behind. They didn't go in there and just they were just going to make it a close game, one-score game. No, they came in there and they had something. They felt it was personal, which is the reason why I think Michigan won. They came in there and it was personal. They really took that second half personal. So that's what
I mean, when you look at it, Michigan outscored Ohio State 28-3 in the second half. I mean, it wasn't even close. It was like you said, C.J. Stroud did not look comfortable. But one thing I think that we talked about before was Michigan has the higher floor in the sense of when Michigan's at their worst and Ohio State's at their worst, you take Michigan over Ohio State. Now we've seen Michigan hit, what their top gear is, which is great and all, but we kept expecting this Ohio State ceiling to come in, right? Because I mean, let's be honest, C.J. Stroud is a great quarterback. He was the Heisman favorite, most likely, going into that game. You look at it from a Marvin Harrison. I mean, they got probably the best receiver in college football, Marvin Harrison. And it's not like they have other guys that are bad. They have a lot of good receivers. But when you play this sport, it comes down to in November and December, throwing the ball is great. Playing pretty is all good and dandy. But if you can't run the ball and can't stop the run, it's going to kill you at the end of the day. Now, you said Ohio State can run the ball. Yeah, they can, but not to what Michigan can. Michigan will run the ball 50 times a game for 300 yards because that's just who they are. They will punch you in the mouth, and they will make you have to punch them back. But you just can't with them.
Go ahead.
And to me, right now, when it comes to Michigan, what's good for them is you could maybe disagree with me on this one. In college football this year, I don't think there's a great team. You know what I mean? I don't see how in years past, the COVID year with Alabama, they were head and shoulders better than everybody else. When you watched LSU with Joe Burrow, they were better than everybody else. I don't think there's a team this year that's like that. If you want to say Georgia, but Georgia, they've shown their flaws. Stetson Bennett's not the greatest quarterback of all time. You know what I mean? They can beat up on them. Missouri was beating them 55 minutes of the game. And then the last 5 minutes, it went to shit. But with Michigan, they've had some close calls, too, when it came to Illinois just 2 weeks ago. When it comes to, like, TCU, almost lost to Baylor, right? Like, I mean, like, all these other top teams right now, they've had their flaws. From USC, who's probably going to make the playoff. They're not great defensively. They're just not very good defensively. They got a great offense. They got the best quarterback in college football right now. They can put up 50 on you if they want to. But they're not – there's no complete team. So this year I feel like it's so up for grabs.
Right.
And Michigan, they have an identity. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to – and they have a good defense, Michigan. They might not be great in the secondary from a corner standpoint, but that front seven, man, they get after the quarterback. And they got good safeties too. They're not going to give up too many big plays. And you're going to have to beat them slow down the field. Take your time. And the team who could probably do that against them is who? Georgia? They expected the big play. USC lives and dies on the big play. So right now, Michigan, you can make the case, is the favorite because they have the most impressive win.
See, and that was the thing about Ohio State. No, that's the thing about the whole game of Ohio State, Michigan. The reason why Ohio State, I really think, folded in the second half and really lost it all in the second half is because Michigan did exactly what they wanted Ohio State to do. They wanted to play a Michigan style of football. You run the ball, you pass, you run a lot, and you control the clock. And that is what Michigan did in the second half. It was a Michigan game, which Ohio State is not known for. Ohio State is a team that wants to make it a track meet. They want to, drop back and send their receivers just running. Like everybody's running wild. And when CJ Stroud stepped up in the pocket, there ain't nobody open. He's running down the field. So everything with Ohio State is a track meet. Everybody just running like loose cannons. And CJ Stroud is just throwing balls downfield. That's exactly Ohio State game of football. Now, Michigan's game of football is they're going to ground and pound on you. They're going to run the ball on first and second down and pass when they have to pass. A little short pass, maybe 5-6 yards, because they may be in a 3rd and 4 or a 3rd and 3. A little screen pass here, a little screen pass there, a little sideline pass for 5 yards. And then they're going to run the ball some more. And then let their defense, they get stopped, fine. But already the 5-6 minutes that came off the clock already. Then when the next team take the ball and go on their Michigan-style brand of football, they're going to force you to run the ball. They're not going to let you just throw deep balls down the field because they have some good DBs now. Let's be real. They have some DBs and some safeties that can, stay with Marvin Harris like he did. He did have 100 yards receiving, but that was the most quietest 100 yards receiving. He had one TD. That was the quietest one TD of the game. They're going to play their brand of football. And if Michigan has you playing their brand of football, you're poised to lose because no one in the country has two backs that can run for 270 yards each, like Blake Corum and Edwards. So that's the reason why Ohio State really lost, because they couldn't play their brand of football in the second half. They couldn't be like the first half, being successful, running down the field and slinging and throwing slingshots. If they had Njigba, what would Nick Njigba be doing? He'd be flying and streaking down the field, and then he would be throwing it over the shoulder passes. That is Ohio State's brand of football. They love running at you. They love running their wide receivers long, deep, and just throwing. Look at the whole game. They were on 4th and 20. They were on 2nd and 20, and they got to 4th and 6. Because what? They like throwing the football for 15-plus yards and running down the field, making it a track meet. And that's why Michigan won. They played their brand of football. So that's how that was. That's how that ended. Now let's get into how Clemson they lost at home. They had a 40-game win streak at home and had it snapped this weekend. Wow.
Who they are. I told you, it's an easy ACC schedule. They're not as good as we thought they were. South Carolina, though, I mean, they came on late. I mean, granted, they did beat Tennessee last week. Got to give, South Carolina some credit, right? But now they played a team out of conference, not an ACC team, not one of them overrated, teams. Look at Syracuse and North Carolina State and Wake Forest. And then they played an SEC team. They didn't get smacked in the mouth, but at one point in that game, they were up 9 points in the second half. And you lost at home? Their quarterback, DJ, completed 8 passes on 29 attempts. Couldn't even throw for 100 yards. That's bad. That's really bad. Clemson will be back. Dabo Swinney is an incredible coach. They're going to be back at the top, but this year just wasn't it for them. And same thing with last year.
Let's just look at how Texas A&M trounced. I mean, they trounced.
Bro, my God. Their one running back had like 200 yards. That was crazy.
Auburn obviously took care of business. I mean, Alabama obviously took care of business, but Oregon also getting another loss.
Oregon State's good, man. I mean, they're not bad. They're really not bad, Oregon State. At one point, Oregon had a 31-10 lead in the third quarter.
I mean, I just don't understand. It's crazy, man. I mean, I don't understand.
And then they gave up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter in a matter of 5 minutes and lost 38-34. Bo Nix didn't even play bad. That's the funny thing is Bo Nix was not the problem. And I mean, it's just wild to me. Like, college football is absolutely wild now.
I mean, right now in the top 14, I don't know who's going to win. I'm just like my dad. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to win. Like, you can say Georgia will win because they have Stetson Bennett to throw the ball. He can throw to, what's his name? What's that tight end they got?
Brock Bowers.
There it is. Brock Bowers. The man, he could have won. He could have been up for Heisman trophy. He could have been up for the Heisman candidacy if he had a quarterback that could throw him the ball like for 40 times a game. I mean, I don't know who's going to win because Blake Corum is with Michigan. He was already a Heisman finalist. He's going to be a Heisman finalist. I mean, they got TCU with Duggan. They got 2 backs that can run the ball, and Duggan finds a way to win games. TCU's defense finds a way to stop people like they did Texas. They're going to either score the ball on you or they're going to stop you. It's that simple. So you're going to have to choose one. And then with USC, let's just be real, they got the Heisman candidate. They got the Heisman winner, Caleb Williams. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to win. So, I mean.
You never know anymore in college football, man.
Football is real. It's a real deal, man.
Yeah. And the AP, or I'm sorry, not the AP poll, but the college football ranking, playoff. They came out with their ranks for this week. Hold on, I'm sorry, just trying to get it updated. But LSU dropped all the way to 14 after that embarrassing loss to Texas A&M, which we talked about. But hey, how about Penn State moving up to number 8 in the country, man? I mean, hey. They're not making the playoff. I think but up to 14, are they all the way back? We'll see. It really is. And what's good is, like we were talking about, Ohio State's not in it this year. Bama's not in it. You're getting a bunch of different teams. We haven't seen USC up there at the top in quite some time. We haven't seen TCU in the top 5 in quite some time. So it's a nice sight to see some teams that you haven't seen, even Tennessee, even though they did have, some bad games late. But it's good to see that they were able to, be one of the top teams in the country. And the Big 12, they got some decent teams this year, and not named Oklahoma. So college football, man, it's back. It's all the way back, baby.
Yep, I mean, it's real. So we're here. So hey, that's all we got for the podcast today. I mean, I would love to get into hockey, but I have the little run around to do right now. Finals week is coming up. We'll get into hockey on Friday. In other news, we got World Cup, baby. It's here. And the USA survives, baby. Yes. Captain Pulisic, they call him. Captain America, baby. He's not the actual captain. Let me just, put that, in perspective. He's not the actual captain. It's the other guy. But yeah, I mean, Captain Pulisic, Captain America, he's here. And he scored the lonely goal that we needed to beat Iran to get into the knockout stage. So now this is when the real games begin. This is the tournament now. This is where this is where the guys go from quarterfinals to semifinals to championships and things like that. So we got the round of 16 now. We're going to have the quarterfinals after that. And then we're going to have the semifinals. And then you're going to have the real game. You're going to have the game. So it's pretty good. USA does what they do. And I'm going to be watching, of course, on Saturday as it's coming up at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We are facing the Netherlands. So hopefully we got Christian Pulisic back after injury, after injuring himself on that goal. He gave his body for that goal. He already had my respect, and I'm probably going to follow him on Instagram. So, so that's all we got right now. I mean, appreciate y'all tuning in on our first episode back. Yeah, I mean, we're here, and hey, we're back. Hope everybody's Thanksgiving was good. Comment, share, and subscribe at the bottom. If you have any questions, let us know. Put it in the comments, or if you have any compliments or anything, comments in general, put it in the description box below. And we appreciate you. We appreciate y'all tuning in like always. And like DC was saying, Heisman, DC's Heisman is coming. So appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yep.
That's me and Billy. This is Shot of Sports. We'll see you Friday.
Yeah.